What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome. Thank you for joining us in the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. To your right is Mr. W2. I say your right because it's my left and it's a whole thing.
Right.
Anyway, so I don't know why I had to explain that. Today we are trying the West Bottoms Whiskey Company American, we'll call it Kansas City, single malt whiskey.
Yeah, why not?
We've so far over the course of this podcast, we've tried the original whiskey, the maple cask finished rye, the American blended single malt, and now we're going to try the just plain American single malt.
Excuse me while I break the wax seal. Mm-hmm. Definitely easier than most Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
But I also don't have the stopper off yet. There we go.
Here we go.
All right.
Ooh, a black stopper. Hadn't seen that before. Those were good brownies.
Those were good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yours needs a little more. Yep. That'll work. Even Steven. Yeah, so that's probably the first Kansas City whiskey I've seen with a wax dip on the stopper. I don't think I've seen that. And they put a stamped imprint of their logo up there. Very cool. Well, other than what we can see here, a shouldered flask style whiskey bottle. This is the 375 milliliter. Not the big one. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know if
nothing wrong with that.
I don't know if it's something to be upset or disappointed in. But I remember when they posted these on Instagram, that one post was the American blended malt whiskey, and then the other post was this single malt whiskey. And just a quick glance, I was like, oh, I gotta have those. And I rushed down to pick those up, and I had not caught the fact, because it's still the same shape bottle, and at glance, I didn't catch the fact that this is a 375 bottle, not the full 750.
Well, it looks like...
But it's okay.
On the back here, on the back of their label, it might give us a little bit of an explanation of that here. It says, distilled in our hand-hammered copper alembic pot still, this American single malt whiskey is built from barley and peated malt and aged in small barrels.
Right.
So it says it offers bold notes of toasted caramel, sweetness, or caramel, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, a touch of smoke that revives the spirit of innovation and industry in the West Bottoms. So that's just what it says on the label. What else? What all can you tell me? What's the proof on this?
Well, this is American whiskey. It is a single malt whiskey. There is no age statement on this one as well. This one comes in at 100 proof.
100 proof.
So it's a little bit higher. The blended malt whiskey is 90 proof, so a little bit hotter.
Wow, smells pretty.
And the write-up on this one is our premium offering, 100% distilled and aged by West Bottom Whiskey Company on our 211-gallon copper alembic pot still, which you said. The first peated whiskey in Kansas City. 50% malted barley, 50% peated malt. Aged 1 year in 5-gallon barrels.
1 year in 5-gallon barrels. Those are really small.
Those are the small barrels, not the 52. These are the big ones are 52. Aged in 5-gallon barrels. Limited run being released and available in our parlor. Each bottle has been hand wax dipped and crested with our seal. But yeah, so clearly, if they're aging this in 5-gallon barrels, clearly they have a limited supply of it. So I get the 375. I was bummed because I was fully expecting, especially at $70.
Really?
The blended, the American blended malt whiskey in the 750 was $64. So this was $5 more and half the bottle. But it's, like I said, it is 100% their product. It is a single malt. It is Kansas City's first single malt whiskey, which I think is pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
50% malted barley, 50% peated malt. And, distilled in their 211-gallon copper alembic pot still.
I don't know what an alembic pot still is, but
I don't either. But
it's hand-hammered? Like, that sounds cool to me.
I would assume, which we all know what that does, but the little watermark here, I assume that's probably the still that was used.
Okay. So that
if not, shame on you.
That tulip bulbed,
yeah,
or garlic. Actually, it's more like a garlic clove, or a head of garlic shaped. Kind of like this, just more narrow up here at the top.
What I think is cool about this is they've taken their standard label, and they've put it on black. So it's reversed out. They've got the black wax, and the labels are black. So it's distinct. It really stands out.
And it's so much darker.
And it's kind of a coppery ink.
Maybe it's the black label.
It is darker.
Being suggestive to me, but that looks like a dark honey.
And not a lot of sediment in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
And in the glass, it's absolutely
slightly cloudy.
And in the glass, it is absolutely darker than the blended malt.
And in the glass, you still got plenty of legs. And on the nose, it's almost floral.
Yeah.
There's honey.
Yep.
There's a light smoke.
A lot of honey, light smoke.
Just like barely any of that. It actually smells more like barley now.
Yep.
It's not grassy.
It doesn't have the same brininess
briny
that the blended did.
So for me, I'm thinking I might like this better just because it's a little more simple.
Yeah.
Floral, light smoke, honey, barley. Anything you would add? Weird shit like macaroni and cheese and okra. I had such a craving for macaroni and cheese earlier today for lunch, but I ended up not getting it. But I did get okra. Fried okra. I went to Church's Chicken.
Okay, yep.
For that Texas flavor.
I am getting some kind of a fruit.
Cherries? Maybe. Some kind of stone fruit?
Yeah.
Like plum or cherry? I'm not picking up apple.
No, it's definitely not apple.
Yeah. It's like a deep, dark plum or cherry. Does it have notes here?
We've got smooth for proof, honey, pear, mild smoke, honeysuckle, and a medium finish.
Well, pear. Or were you picking up pear?
Well, I was picking up some kind of fruit.
Maybe
that is a pear.
Pear's never on my radar because I don't like pears. But whatever. Jennifer tried to get me to eat. She did get me to eat some of her pear flavored jelly beans. She said, "Oh, these are so great. They taste like the best pear at the ultimate ripeness state, and it's just so great. And you probably never had a good pear, and that's why you don't like them." And I'm like,
I love pears.
Right. To eat.
I love pear juice.
Pear juice.
Yeah, after if you've got canned pears.
Okay.
Which if I get pears, if I get any fruit in a can, I try to get light syrup or natural.
I like the water or the natural whatever.
Yeah. The heavy syrup
or in 100% juice
is gross.
Yeah, I don't.
But light syrup or natural juice.
When I was a kid, I loved it. Peaches. Like I get the peaches in the heavy syrup, and I'm like, oh, this is so good. But nowadays, no, I want it in its own juices, in its own.
But 100%. I like the pear juice. Pear juice with a little bit of Malibu rum. That's a good combination right there.
Oh, the Barrel Craft whiskey we haven't reviewed yet, right? Yeah, we have.
We have
one of them.
It hasn't posted yet.
Okay. Spoiler alert. It should be out by the time this airs. Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
And if not, whatever. We tried it. We liked it. A buddy of mine at work said that we got to try the Blue Label. It's aged in rum casks. He said it's the best thing he's ever had. So you brought up rum. I like rum in limited, quantities. Here and there, every once in a while. Whatever. I had to bring it up.
Let's get this on the palate.
Let's do it. There's that proof.
It's got a little bit of a sweetness to be right on in the beginning.
Where'd it go? Gotta do that again. Yeah, I picked up a little bit of oakiness. Mm-hmm. Almost like a little bit of a charcoal to it. Did you pick up any charcoal?
A little bit, yeah. You know, I mentioned early on that,
little honey.
Based off of the description, there was something that kind of caused me to raise an eyebrow and kind of take pause, I guess, would be the way to say it. But the 5-gallon barrel, 1 year and 5-gallon barrels, that's unusual, right?
Yeah, I mean, who ages in 5-gallon barrels?
And I don't remember any specifics, but I've seen Whiskey Tribe has done a couple episodes where they've talked about the smaller barrels versus the large ones, and they talk about there being very distinct differences in taste from the two, and you can tell that if something was aged in the smaller barrels. Okay. And so I wonder how much of that plays into the flavor and the profile of...
For me, the flavor is very abrupt. It's very, bracing. Like, it's like you take a sip of it and rushes up and grabs you by the shirt. Like, hey! And then it goes, like...
What's up?
It's just like... takes off.
Yeah. It's not that it has a short finish, but when the finish is done...
Yeah.
It's out of here.
No muss, no fuss. It's like, it comes up, slaps you, smooches you on the mouth, whether you want to be smooched or not, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the finish isn't long and lingering, but I'm still picking up some of that oakiness.
Mm-hmm.
Little charcoal.
Mm-hmm.
A little
bit
smoke.
more proof, gives it a little bit more heat.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was very peppery.
Yeah.
And
this one here,
this
the
one
proof
just has a
shows
proof
up on the palate.
Yep.
Which I like. Maybe like blackened marshmallow.
Isn't what you read, didn't it say something about marshmallow on the finish?
That was on the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one didn't disappoint. Palate action.
Getting a little bit of that peaty braininess at the bottom of the glass. Let that sit for a little bit and see what our empty glass yields.
Yeah.
Do we get any feedback on this one specifically on the books
this
of
one
faces?
Specifically, Griffin loves the Westbound, the West Bottoms malts, especially the single malt. Just wish they hadn't priced it so high. So he agrees with you on that one.
Same. You know what's nice about this 375 bottle though? I like the shape of it, and it's flask-esque.
Yep.
And at this size, yeah, you can probably get that to watch my microphone.
Yeah, you put it on your jacket pocket on the inside if you're wearing a like a suit, jacket, coat, whatever. You'll have enough to bring to the party to share with everybody. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not everybody because it's not a $70 bottle. And
not
it's
quite
proof.
as compact as our cool rag proper glass flask.
Those are very cool. Yeah, those you can't find in the Savor the Burn shop, but it's very cool. It's what is that, neoprene?
It's like a silicone
sleeve. Not for use in the bedroom, but it's very cool. Glass flask, because we've all used the flask that's aluminum or even sometimes copper, and they just after a couple hours they just tin. They just ruin the flavor of whatever it is that you brought, and chances are you brought it to a place that serves alcohol, and because you don't want to you can't always depend on the venue to have a decent selection of whiskeys, especially after you've had a podcast for about a year and you show up and like the best flavorful thing they have is White Label Jim Beam and
let's just say your band is
or
playing,
Jameson,
and
and then you start wishing to God that you brought something in a flask even a nasty little aluminum tin metal flask, because anything would be better than the god awful slop that they have to offer behind that bar. I mean, you have Fireball, but you don't have Jim Beam Black Label, the extra A's. You don't, whatever,
bro. What's wrong with Fireball?
It's a Kansas City renowned and destination spot for people traveling to Kansas City if they want to, if they're into slot machines or blackjack, if they're into live music at the same time and they want to stay in a hotel while they're in town. This place has it all.
It has it all.
So why not have Kansas City whiskeys? Did they have Rieger?
City. They did not.
They did not have Riegers. Shame on them.
No bottled and bond or otherwise.
Oh, well. Let's see. Matthew says, oh, snap. Yes, I've tried all of the West Bottoms Whiskey Company except for the single malt. But if it's like the others, then I would bet it's pretty good also. And it is pretty good. You will have to let me know what you think. I love making my Sazerac with their rye. Super
so that's
tasty.
Matt?
Matt.
Matt.
Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew, this is, I think this is a cut above the blended malt, in my opinion.
I do too. It's simpler
good
on the palate. It's less busy, Like you can, if you've ever been in a band and you've been, trying out drummers, and you've got a drummer that's like, I don't really want to do the normal thing that normal drummers do, and they're full fucking jazz, and they're doing all this busy work shit, when I'll just stick in the pocket. Play the pocket.
4-4.
Just try a 4-4. Humor me, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or try the what is it? The 2-4. The 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Just humor us. Just fucking play the song. So no, they can't do that. They get bored like that, and they just gotta go fucking jazz hands, and it's like, fucking stop it.
Oh wait, that's fingers.
Jazz hands and spirit fingers.
Yeah, jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Or is it like this?
Something like that. I don't know.
I don't either.
Whatever.
I'm not a theater dork. I'm just a regular dork. Let's see here. Benjamin says, I've tried the West Bottoms a couple of times. Thanks for the support, sir. Well, he says thanks for the support because he works there as a tour guide. Mr. Moore. Yes. Yeah, you probably met him once or twice.
I think he was there when I think he was there when I picked up
You saw him, but you didn't speak to him. That happens. Yeah. Sometimes people are at work and they're busy. Yeah. They don't have time to chat it up with everybody. Goodness. Well, that's what they think. What do you think? What did you give it on the nose?
I gave it a 4.
Yeah, that's what I gave it. I gave it a 4. It was simple. It was straightforward. The nose wasn't confusing with all these different things. It was slightly floral, which I didn't expect, but I definitely liked it. This one here, it says honeysuckle. Maybe that's that
adds into the
floral thing. So that's actually cool to see.
Combined with the pear.
Now that I think about it, yeah, and you picked up a fruitiness to it, and I did too after second guessing it. But pear, I wouldn't have called it pear because I don't know shit about pear. I've tried it a few times, haven't liked it yet. On the palate, I gave it a 375 because it was every bit as fun as the nose was. The floral took a hike, but in its place showed up the more of a smoky peat kind of presence.
I gave it 4.25.
4.25.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, I kept with the my same rating from the other one. I thought the palate was great. Mm-hmm. I gave it a 4.25 for slightly different reasons, but very well-rounded palate. I appreciate and I love the mild, subtle smokiness that it has to it, and so you can taste the peat in there, and then rounding it out with the honey and those floral and stone fruit notes. Mm-hmm.
And as much as I did like it, I wasn't wowed by it, and I didn't love it. But I definitely did like it. But once again, like with the American blended single malt, the one we tried before, the palate was very narrow, like the time frame on it.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
The proof showed up, you know, it's 100 proof. It's hard to not fucking show up when you're 100 proof. But
I'm here to party.
you're right. It's like I said, it rushes up on your face and it slaps you and it kisses you right in the fucking mouth, and then it runs away. You know, like a giggly little Scotsman. But after that, I mean, the finish was more lingering than the last one, and it's like you said, slightly sweet, and it goes on. But that's why I gave it a 375. It's just because it was so narrow.
The thing I found really interesting was the sweetness shows up immediately, but just kind of dissipates and lets everything else kind of come forward. Mm-hmm. By the time you really get into the palate, there's not a whole lot of sweetness to it. It's not a bourbon at all. It does not have that sweetness quality that a bourbon does, but it's there, and then it's overcome by all the other aspects.
Yeah. I would agree with that. On the finish, I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4 1/4.
4 1/4. My, how the turns have tabled. So inside baseball, I went to write down 4 1/4, which is 4.25, and so I do 4.24. I don't know why. And then I scribble out the 2.4 and I put a 5. So I scribble out the 5 and I go 4, and then I write the 2.5. So now it's a big jumbled fucking mess. I give myself a 3.5. How about bottle presentation?
You know, I docked it a little bit.
You docked it?
I docked it a little bit because my expectation when I went down to get it, I was hoping for the larger bottle. There's nothing wrong with a 375 bottle, but I was, and especially at the price point, I was really hoping for the 750 bottle. However,
all right.
Compensating for those deductions, it is black wax dipped.
Yeah.
It does have their seal stamped on the top of it, which looks fantastic and elevates the presentation.
Yep.
I love the black labels, the reversed out labels for this offering. It's great stuff. So all that to say, it actually ended up coming up to the standard 4 that I've given their other offerings. Okay.
Well, I didn't dock them on points because of the size, but I did what was unfair, and I compared to what they would originally have.
If you're comparing within the same house, I think it's perfectly acceptable.
What they would have with all of their other offerings is this, basic kind of label and shape on front and back. And what you see that's different label to label, offering to offering, whatever, is what's going on here in the background of the label. And there'll be different things here on the neckband. There'll be a different color on the outside here. This one here, it was just, they took that original design and they didn't go completely back to the drawing board.
Right.
But they
it's
definitely
more of a shield.
They definitely did something different with it, and I really like it. The smooth flat black and with copper outlining,
mimicking the color
with that kind of rich people white, that creamy white lettering. It's beautiful. It's more, I want to say elegant, but elegant's not quite the right word to use when you've got Murdoch here on the front with his metal lantern jaw looking like a Bond villain. But I mean, we talked about this already. The composite cork that's black, that's part of the whole topper experience. It's wax dipped. It's got the logo stamped into it right there. It wasn't a complete nightmare to try to fucking open when you pull that tab. It's
and the tab that pulled off was this kind of this double sticky plastic band that was underneath it all, and so I was able to get a good little fingertip on there, and it pulled off pretty easily.
And not docking on it for size, because I don't like it when I get docked for size. White boy problems. But the bottle shape is is
Yep.
the same. It's that kind of shouldered, tapered flask style. I like it. I may wish, it was a little bit bigger for a $70 price point.
Yeah.
But you get what you get. And I totally understand. I mean, they had a super limited supply.
Yep.
And it was aged in 5-gallon drums,
Barrels.
barrels. Like, holy smokes. Like, I would expect it.
I mean, that's like the barrel that you buy to sit on your home bar and age your own whiskey, re-age.
Yeah, we don't have a 5-gallon bucket around here anywhere, but like we've all seen a 5-gallon bucket, and it's like that's as big as your little barrel is, you know.
Compared to the 52-gallon.
Yeah, honey, I shrunk the barrel. You know, with me, I'd probably throw honey in there with it and age it in a 5-gallon barrel. But yeah, I would expect it to be aged in, you know, a 15 or 20-gallon barrel, not a 5 for fuck's sake. But whatever. I'm not mad at it.
That's a lot of 5. I mean, if you think about it, though, even at limited release, that's a lot of 5-gallon barrels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many barrels did they have?
Does not say.
It doesn't say. And I mean, did they not have enough for one, you know, 2-gallon barrel? Like they could just fill one?
Yeah, I mean, clearly they have them because that's what they age their standard product.
Right.
And so
whatever. I don't know. There's probably reasons, and we're going to end up going there at some point anyway, and we'll just have to write all these questions down, and we'll ask them.
Hopefully they have answers.
Ben, we're coming. Or anybody else there, because we'll be having questions, and we'll try to ask them here and there. We're not going to machine gun staccato the questions your way, but we'll definitely
pick up that glass now. I've actually picked
it up.
Definitely
ask them.
As we've been talking. I've picked it up a couple times, and the first couple times there was a little bit lingering, but not a whole lot. But now that it's dried itself out a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy what you get in the empty glass after the fact. More honey. I agree. It actually kind of resolves that more of a mapley kind of a sweetness.
Still kind of smoky.
Yep.
Or,
definitely some peat on that.
Peat and something else. Charcoal?
Maybe. Yep.
I don't know. I think the charcoal might be inescapable, and maybe that's because they were aged in little 5-gallon drums. Just ever so slight on that charcoal. That's something. Having different notes on the empty.
On the empty glass after the fact.
On the empty glass.
Yeah.
I think we're lucky to have Glencairn, these tulip-shaped glasses to let the smells bloom down here in this part of it, and then concentrate up here in this part of it, and bring it right to the nose. If this were in a Collins glass or a rocks glass, it wouldn't nose the same.
No, not at all.
But we might be getting into the weeds on all that. Let's see here. You gave your bottle presentation as a 4. I gave mine as a 4 1/4. Because it was new and interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I like the look of matte black with shiny trim
and the black wax.
Accent. Yeah, the black wax, the wax dip.
That's cool.
It's a very cool touch, super unique, and like it says, it's the first Kansas City single malt
peated.
Peated American single malt whiskey. I'm stoked for Kansas City to have our first. I'm stoked for West Bottoms Whiskey Company to offer the first.
Right.
So this is history in a bottle right here. And I think it only gets better from here on out. Because I don't think they'll be aging them in 5-gallon barrels again. If they do, they do. If not, I wouldn't think they would.
I've seen a couple of posts from them recently talking about new things coming.
That could mean anything.
Right.
That could mean anything.
I mean, I wasn't mad at that maple finished rye.
I was not either. And I see it. There's still some available in the stores.
Yep.
And I keep wanting to buy another one just to have it.
Yep.
But I know I'm going to end up needing to drink it because
Their website says sold out, which means that the parlor sold out. But distributors still
have
stores still have some on the shelves.
Yeah, and at a nearly $70 price point, that's what keeps me from buying it. But it's limited time offer, limited release, and as far as I know, they're not going to make it again. But if they do, I'll be there. I'll be there for it.
Yes, sir.
I'll be happy to buy another bottle happily. I'm trying to write down my little synopsis down here.
This was the fourth offering that we've tried from theirs. We missed out on the Malbec finished.
We did.
Casey whiskey.
And I still lament.
Yeah, but this is the fourth offering from our friends at West Bottom Whiskey Company, and they're doing a lot of good things.
When aren't they doing good things? I mean, they're just a from the outside looking in, they're a great company to want to be a part of. It seems like anytime we've gone, it never looks to me like their employees are having a bad day.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen them have unruly customers walk in and give them a bunch of grief and take a fat Monday right on their work day. It just seems like a great place. It's a great place to hang out. It's a great place to grab a neat. And they have plenty of different options to choose from. And if you're not into the neat pours, you could get it on the rocks if you want. You could have it in a cocktail. And their cocktails are top notch. Their mixology's on point, whether it's a batch. What was that? Batch tending.
Batch tending.
Yeah, that was a term we learned not too long ago. From our hunt day, but that was a pretty fun day. We should talk about that soon. It's just I don't know. I can't say enough good things about West Bottom's Whiskey Company.
Yep.
I've never had a bad experience involving West Bottom's Whiskey Company.
I like it.
I wrote down a simple and straightforward whiskey. Sweet, smoky, trustworthy, clean. Try it and see what all the hype is about. Good times. Anyway, so we've read the Whiskey Guild comments. Whiskey Tribe didn't have anything. I've said my piece. What do you think? Any closing thoughts on this bad boy?
I enjoyed this one a lot. It's a very different pour from their other offerings, and it's solid.
It really is very different from their other offerings. Have we tried all of their offerings except for that one?
Except for the one. Yep.
If any of you have the Malbec?
The Malbec finish.
Cask finish, West Bottom's whiskey, please send us some. If they're like the little...
Just send us a 2-ounce bottle.
If you have a small bottle like these, like from Flavier, just wash it out real good. Give us one, and we'll share it. I just hate that we missed out on that. It happened so fast. It was just there, and then it just wasn't there.
Right.
It makes my heart sad. So, please. He's not begging. I am. Please, help us close this gap. Let us be a part of the entire experience. For the love of everything sacred. But until then, no matter what you're drinking, what you're not drinking, who you're drinking it with, where you're drinking, never forget to keep on burning.